Did you guys watch the new BarTalk Day Drinking episode?
I didn't.
Yeah. I'm trying. I think I watched it.
You lived it.
Yeah, I did live it. I'm trying to remember if I watched it when I was in Florida. Pretty sure I did.
Well, hopefully our listeners out there have watched the new BarTalk Day Drinking video. Breakfast drinks up on YouTube.
The screenshot looked very entertaining. It
It
was just Dan and baby Jack. Jack.
Oh yeah.
Dan's telling some jokes.
She was a fucking riot, man. You could see her get drunk in real time.
Just like Meggie.
Yeah.
I watched Meggie deteriorate after her shift yesterday. It took like 15 minutes. It was hilarious. It was like.
But and for people listening, welcome to the BarTalk podcast. We're doing BarTalk today,
We're
right?
not talking about bars.
I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing anymore.
Who
This
does,
month
though?
has been a goddamn blur. I am Andy of Inebriart, and I am joined today by Jordan, my back's to window Shabbat.
Had to do it. ADD is on full flare today.
I'm going to get WJDD.
JDD.
Yeah.
Fuck, that needs to be a t-shirt.
That's a nickname for my other friend, Jay, who has also ADD like you. So, well, W too. You guys can share.
See, that's the thing. I'm like self-diagnosed ADD. Like,
We all are. It's our age. you know?
Yeah, right. Like, oh, I got ADD. But now when you have like 30 people tell you a day you might have it, you might actually have it.
So, funny story about self-diagnose. We're also here with Dan Mahoney
Yo,
of Stats, and Fish, as always, who's not mic'd for some reason. But this is
so far away.
This has nothing to do with BarTalk, but I've always said that I feel like I have an undiagnosed learning disorder, something like dyslexia. My spelling is god awful. Like letters just don't ever look right to me, and so it's kind of like my running joke when anytime someone will be like, "Oh, you spelled this super obvious word wrong," I'm like, "Oh, undiagnosed learning disorder, whatever." And so for a while I was dating this teacher, and she spoke to someone like special needs teacher and been like, "Oh, what can like an adult do to help if they have dyslexia?" And they're like, "Oh, they should do word searches. That really helps." And I'm like, fuck, when I was a little kid, they took me out of class to do word searches with my spelling words in it. I'm like, I'm not undiagnosed. Just no one fucking told me.
no one cared.
Now I feel bad for making fun of you when you got to read the names during questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, I don't feel bad anymore.
Nah, I didn't.
It lasted like almost 7 seconds.
I saw like your brow a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Wow, Jordan's nicer than I thought.
You died a little bit in the eyes, but I don't know if that's for you.
It's really something just caught his attention.
Yeah.
But so we were talking just before recording. We're like, let's record this. But about the things that we miss because of COVID, how events have changed, how bar events have changed. I mean, me and Fish run Inebriart, which is almost exclusively either podcasting or bar events, and we've seen huge changes. I mean, we used to have, I'd say our average crowd was 20 to 25 people on like a Monday, Wednesday night. And now it's like 10 to 12. And we used to have sellouts. I'd say like 1 in 3 events were sellouts. And I think we've only had 1 so far this year.
Wow.
And is it coming back? I don't know. Like, I mean, did Stats do events before?
Our whole existence is an event. So.
Dan Mahoney is like king of the weird, fucked up events at BBC.
Listen, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment. We're going to have a Nerf gun. Nerf?
I can't. So you can't make fun of him now. This sucks. He's disarmed me.
A Nerf gun shootout. I remember that one.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was just more for me.
Yeah,
they're all for me.
All for you.
And then whoever else wanted to come.
You grow up watching all those wicked cool Nerf commercials where they have like all the fucking obstacles and shit. You
Yep.
feel like you're on American Gladiators, and we never actually got to do that.
Yeah.
Dan did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You lived your dreams.
I did. In a
were
very
all
hot,
for it.
sweaty attic. The oldest building in Plymouth.
I just appreciate you taking us for the ride.
So, are you guys starting to do events again? What do you see in today's? I don't know. Can we say post-COVID?
It's tough.
As someone that wears a mask at work again, I don't think it's post-COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. You're back to wearing masks.
Yeah,
over
Boston,
there?
the city of Boston. Any
That's right.
indoor.
I know that's right. We've just been kind of waiting for it to spread out to
Yeah.
us, but they haven't said anything for Plymouth yet. But events wise, I've got live music back. That was kind of my way of dipping my toe back in. Everyone can seriously kind of practice social distancing while watching music and stuff like that. And as long as the musicians are, clean, then we have nothing to worry about. They're singing into a microphone and they're socially distanced from everybody that's in the restaurant.
When you said clean, I thought you meant curse words. Since when?
Well, I mean, yeah, some of them. Matt Audette plays on Friday. But as far as like events, like I do genuinely miss that. And I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like that muscle's not flexed or I'm nervous that it's just going to end up getting canceled. Like I'm just kind of waiting, like Dan was just saying, waiting for it to roll back. So I don't want to make all these commitments. Or I don't know. But feel like Speedwell loses its identity a little bit when we don't routinely have some sort of beer related event, or we used to have retro video game nights.
Yeah, I remember those.
Those were great. And events like you guys are putting on, like mug painting and stuff. We used to have like mug hoisting contests, stuff like that. And it's just
we used to do the
Hops and Hots.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So that comes around towards the end of winter every year. Out with the cold, in with the brew. So that's how I remember to book it. But and that's to raise money for the fire department and stuff, and we've skipped it. We had to cancel COVID was a week bore.
Yep.
In 2020,
Yep.
We still have all the T-shirts, and we had to cancel
one.
that one, and then and it's just So we'll do that again this year. But the mug club, my mug club, where we basically you have to use your mug to keep it. Right now, we can't do it because you can't like force people to come in and use their mugs right now. If they legitimately don't feel safe, and they're one of the 100 people hanging above the bar, there's not people hanging above the bar. There's mugs hanging above the bar that they got to drink out of once every 3 weeks. If they don't, they lose their spot and someone takes it. But we can't do it. We can't open it back up because you can't be like Delta variant spreading everywhere, but we're forcing you to go to school.
So do you not do it at all right now?
No. These are the 100 people that are up there are getting this amazing flex time where they don't have to worry about using it or not.
I'm just going to come in and start using everybody's mug.
Yeah, I mean,
just licking them
pretty
off.
dusty.
That's fine, man.
No, we take them
What's a
down.
little dust?
Just a little.
Yeah.
It's a little character.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. I mean, but I don't know. We got to start doing it eventually, right? What's the worst that can happen? You can't.
We don't do like events like that at Stats, but we do like a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that. So we've come back to that. They're not as some of them are still pretty big, but luckily for us, I think being in the city is different. It's just even with having to wear a mask inside, still people are in there because the marathon's finally happening again.
Right.
So we did. Yeah, it's next month. This month.
It's coming up.
October.
Second week of October.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. It'll be October when this comes out.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I put a deadline on you, Fish.
Parade. Yep. Thanksgiving parade is back this
Which
year.
is, for our listeners outside of Plymouth, is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
second largest Thanksgiving parade, only to the Macy's parade in New York.
Yep.
And it's going to be televised this year, I hear?
Yeah.
I thought it was last year. No, not last year. The last time. Oh, no, it's like PAC TV.
I think it's nationally televised.
Yeah,
that's part of that Plymouth 400th anniversary. I actually just sat in on a call about that because everybody's like, where'd all the money go for raising for 400th? And I won't get into all that, but they did mention like, hey, we still have this lined up.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool, nationally televised this year.
And that was always, just an insane day down here.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to go streaking on national television, now's your chance.
Fish just left the room to go wax himself.
Go limber up.
You need to go borrow Karl's full body mirror to inspect himself to see how much work he's got to do.
Karl's full body mirror is 4.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
But and the other thing that we've seen change a lot is the lack of, I don't want to say lack of planning, but lack of commitment from people. The number of events, like we have a certain, like if 2 people have booked to paint mugs, we're not going to drive to the North Shore for 2 people. We cancel it.
Right.
But now we're learning that it may be the morning of and there's 2 people, but by the time it kicks off and you're there, you have a dozen.
Right.
Like everyone is waiting to the last minute to sign up. We did a comedy night here at New World Tavern, and again, 2 people that morning, 20 people at the event.
Right.
It's really stressful because you're like, am I going to go? Is it a waste of time? Am I going to have a room full of 5 comics and no one to laugh at them?
Yep.
They're laughing at each other. It'll just be this podcast.
They're probably meaner to each other, which is
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Comics are pretty brutal.
Yeah, and and that's from the point of view of the consumer or the person, the guest that's coming in to participate in the event. But same goes for your perspective and my perspective and Dan's. Like, we are booking the events. Is it worth it for us?
Yep.
Is it worth it to the person that we're booking the event with? Like I'll just use the video game guy for example. John, great dude, owns
Bowser's Basement.
Bowser's Basement.
Yep.
That's it's a great plug. Vintage video game store, but he has like all kinds of merchandise and stuff. It's amazing, super unique store. And he packs up a bunch of TVs and a bunch of old retro video game systems, brings them to a bar, sets them up, and for no cost to the patron, at least at Speedwell, you eat, you drink, and you play video games. You pay for the eating and drinking, but you play video games for free.
Unless you steal someone else's stuff.
Then
there you go.
Then that's a perfect night to do it.
That's called being thrifty.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Fry here.
You guys get packed. When you did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah.
We were coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the first one that we did, and John messaged me. He's like, "Hey, dude, we got to get this back up and running." And I was like, "Cool. When do you want to do that?" And he's like, "Well, let's hold off for," and that's kind of how the conversations go.
Right.
Let's see how these next couple months go with the kids going back to school and the weather cooling down. So we're not.
And then, even though it's been said 100 times that it doesn't spread by surface contact, but now do you need to wipe down the controllers,
Right.
to make people feel safe and all that shit.
And you got the CDC, saying, you shouldn't be walking around in a restaurant and blah, 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 blah. Well, all these are set up like there's a dry bar. You're standing there. You're switching from game to game. People are constantly changing their spaces. And it's just bad optics more than anything. It's like, we want to do this so bad, but is it a luxury? Is it a novelty? It's not a necessity. And I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think events are, because I feel Speedwell losing its identity a little bit. It's supposed to be that fun, laid back place that does unique events like that. And without the events or the fundraisers where you're instilling yourself in the community, you start to slip a little bit. You feel like you're losing touch. And I'm getting to that point where I'm just like, fuck it, let's book it.
Yeah, and I just think there's a lot of confusion based on we were talking, are masks coming back? Aren't they coming back? I know Kingston
Brought him back for a day and then got rid of him after.
Yeah, because of the pushback from the businesses and the townspeople, because they were kind of saying to the businesses, well, it's your job to police this, and the businesses were like, fuck you, not my job.
Right.
My job isn't to piss off my customers. It's just this uncertainty. I feel like if something came down nationally, one way or the other, it's like, this is what we're all going to do, it'd be better, because then people would feel more like, okay, we have a guideline, and it's not business A is going to do one thing and business B is going to do another thing. And this town, when we go to do events, we have to be like, okay, we need to make sure we have our mask, because we don't want to drive an hour and a half and then be like, well, you need to have a mask to be here.
Yep.
Which we ran into in Salem.
Do you think it's this time of year too? Because this is the time of year, the last 2 years, where the weather changes, and then that's when they start rolling out stricter guidelines. Because remember last year, probably a month into it, right around here is when they did the reduced capacity or curfew, or one of those stupid things.
I saw something about
the food.
Where they're
Food
like,
with
oh,
beverages.
it was this time last year when Governor Baker said this, that, the other thing. I'm like, well, last year there was no vaccine.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
And generally this time last year is about when the cases started going back up.
Yep.
I mean, that's the kicker. As soon as, when it's nice and people go out and they don't deal with anything. But I honestly think at this point it's almost too late to really lean back hard into masks, because it's like, guys, if you were going to do it, you should have done it in August. Now it's like...
That's what, I'll give Boston credits. They did that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, all these kids are coming back to school.
It's like, all right.
And then that's why.
Yeah,
Yep.
but now
You
it's
guys are a petri dish.
Yeah.
I know, but now you're looking at it. And now
Even without the
numbers-
kids coming back to school.
And flu season, too.
Yeah, but now the numbers are all going the other way. It's like everything is either flat or declining. I mean, you go mass now, it's like, great, you guys have now just screwed up businesses, and it's like...
I'll give them
There's
credit
no
where they are. It's not
bonus there.
what it was the first time masks rolled around.
Oh,
It's
absolutely not.
They're
Right.
not up your ass about what you got to do. They want you to do the right thing, but they're not in my door every 5 minutes like they were last year.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, again, it's a whole different situation now. It's like,
Yep.
most people are vaccinated, and while the disease is still transmitted, if you are vaccinated and you catch it, it is generally a much less difficult concern.
Yep.
It's like you sit down, it's like, great, I'm home for like 4 days, kind of feeling blah.
Right.
You know, yeah.
That's just every day of my life.
It's too much common sense.
Sorry, some guy gave fishing microphone.
Cut this part out.
I was never here.
But no, I mean, and like just the number of people in general that you see wearing masks now out and about, you know, that they just choose to. You know, like, I'm going to wear it for, you know, whatever reason.
It's funny because my wife and kid do when they go out, and it's mainly because my kid's he's going to be 4, but young, and he just started school for the first time, so he's going to like preschool, whatever, and they make the kids wear masks in preschool, and you got little 3-year-olds running around wearing a mask, not complaining or kicking and screaming and whining about it.
Oh,
Imagine.
they don't give a shit at all.
Yeah. So, but she wants to lead by example. So, like when we go to the supermarket with him, we wear masks, stuff like that. And I've gotten in the habit of not wearing it again. But now I've been going to the supermarket on my way home or running an errand on my way home from work, and I just put it on. I'm just like, I see at least half the people wearing them now, and I'm like, what's the difference? Like, do I really care if anybody sees my nose and my mouth when I go in a Stop and Shop? No.
You would actually prefer it.
I know, right? I can talk shit, and no one's gonna see. I get get the fucking
Pulls his hat down
carriage
low,
on.
and it looks like fucking Captain
I
America.
kind of missed that. Rolling my eyes at people and stuff like that. I mark it back, like I roll my eyes and they could see it. But
I would say, yeah, masks don't go over your eyes, Jordan. You're one of those guys
I wish I
wearing them
did
wrong.
sometimes.
I tell you, come wintertime, I'll be more likely to wear one.
Yeah,
Keep
why
your
not?
face warm.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Hey, do you have a beard? How cold can your lips get?
I'm getting chilly.
I prefer not to wear it in the restaurant. When I'm working in the kitchen because of open flames, but it's hard, like in a loud restaurant, to have a conversation with your guests. You know what I mean? And if they're not going to make me do it, and it helps me do my job better, then fine. And I get the contradiction there. Like, you go into a supermarket where no one's breathing down your neck, and then you go to a restaurant that has 100 people in it, and you're not going to wear a mask. I get it.
It's two different settings, though.
It is.
I think the supermarket, you'll have more people that are iffy about being out in public and all that stuff, where a bar restaurant is not as much.
Yeah, the people who are at least healthy enough, or
If you're
or
going
vaccinated
to a
or
restaurant, you know at some point you're going to take your mask off so you can eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
right,
So,
right.
But yeah, the talking is a real issue. I happen to have a business partner who's a mumbly fuck. Not you, Fish, another one. And we were doing a mug painting the other day, and we might as just well not have spoken. Because every time he spoke, I'm like, I have no idea what barely even know you're talking.
Right.
Because it was loud, and he's got the mask on, and it was just...
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when I'm working and we have like 180 people, and like, I can't fucking hear myself talk right now.
Right.
Without a mask on. Like,
Right.
And trying to tell someone to get off the table and this ain't Coyote Ugly.
There's other ways.
Yeah. I think we should bring squirt guns to bars where it's like you're being bad, like you trade a dog.
Yeah.
This is my. I think
spray bottle?
I've preached this on this podcast.
It's a little
before.
dollar store, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
little spray, spray them down. Bad
The
dog,
dollar store ones leak.
get down.
Pavlov's dickhead.
Yeah, can't hit you with a newspaper. So
Yeah, but how long is that going to last before someone's going to be like, "Woo, a T-shirt"?
Right.
what makes you think that doesn't happen without me doing this?
That's true. That's fair.
Fair enough.
I tell you, Dan's bar sounds interesting.
Yeah. You ever open up your own, man? It really will. It probably look like the set of American Gladiators.
It would probably be called something like "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
No, because you can't say I'm going to get the fuck out today.
Oh, good shit.
You could market it towards Karl and just call it the post office.
That's,
I already told you my name.
I feel like we had this conversation. I don't.
Yeah,
know
we
what
did
they
that
were.
question.
yeah, what did you call it?
Going to run errands,
Yeah.
the store.
Yep.
I forget the other ones.
I
bunch
like
of
run
them.
errands.
Yeah, I got to go run errands today.
Yeah.
It's like fuck.
That's fucking perfect.
I told you where I was going.
Didn't lie.
I didn't lie to you. I got stuff to do.
So, my father was like a barfly back in the day, and this is something that I don't know what made me think of this, but back then, wives would call the bar looking for their husbands.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a thing anymore.
It is at the clubs.
I've
Yeah.
I've had that at BBC once or twice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah.
Shit, I won't say his last name.
So they don't listen to this podcast anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, somebody.
I mean, if you're using a landline to call to check up on someone, you're not listening to the podcast.
Right.
You know.
I will always say when I bartend, I offered the service of I will pretend not to know you, I'll pretend to know you, or I will act like I haven't seen you in a while.
You do a good job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Especially if you come in with someone I've never met before, I'll act like I haven't seen you in a long time. Like, oh, hey, what's going on? Long time. Just so they don't think that you're in my bar every day. It's
funny. There was that day. I remember a specific time when you did that perfectly. I was supposed to be at work. I went to work, got my job done like in an hour. Went next door to BBC. You were bartending. Spent like 3 hours there with you.
Yep.
And then had dinner at night with my wife. And we ended up back at BBC after. I think you were on a double. You were still there bartending.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, Jordan, long time no see. And I was like, fuck yes. Thank God, dude. Thank God. So you're really good at that. That's a skill.
I got you.
Lost art of tending.
My services don't come cheap, but the product is well worth it.
Do you ever fuck with people and do the exact opposite? Been like, oh, you back in here again today?
That's a good one.
Back again? Not that, but I blew up this kid's spot at Stats like a month ago because he fell asleep twice. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of being a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. So I walked up to his table with all his friends. I was like, what's up, buddy? You going to stay awake today? And, and I left, and he was very embarrassed. And he behaved much better now.
You got what you wanted,
Yeah.
and you learned a valuable lesson.
Yep. So that's, I guess, close to the opposite of the...
Right.
I love that.
It'll go both ways.
Yeah.
You got to earn that, though.
I like how you have to earn the bad behavior one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an understanding guy.
You got some questions?
I've been poorly behaved before.
Shoot some questions. Let's get Let's get angry about stuff and not answer people's real problems.
This one, I don't have a name for it. It says, do you have a lot of people getting upset because they can't sample beer that's in a can or bottle?
No.
I don't think so. We don't do that. We don't have the craft beer selection at Stats. So
Really?
No. I'm sure at some point in my life I have.
I bet you Karl has it more than we do because I only have I'll only do 1 or 2 craft cans at a time, and I have 24 draft lines. So.
Well, he has those specialty, the big bombers too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
and those are
the vintage
them,
ones.
Yeah, and some of them are
real money.
fucking $50 a bottle.
Yeah.
So people are like, I don't want to spend all that money without knowing what it tastes like. Well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Right,
Right. Like,
yeah.
can I send it back? I'm like, nope.
Right.
But do you get people that sample? At what point are you like, all right, you can't sample all 24 draft lines?
When Chris Martelli, my former bartender, would work the bar, I told him, listen, you can't sample all 24 draft lines. We did this big, no more drinking at Speedwell.
I didn't mean your bartender.
I know, that's why I went there. You know what? I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't hear about it as much, or maybe we just don't get it as much.
I'm trying. It depends how busy I am. If it's just when I was over across the street and it was me and 2 people, I'm like, whatever, fucking sample whatever you want because I have nothing to do. But if it was busy, then you got 3. And
3 strikes
and
you're
then
out.
if you got a Coors Light after, I would blow up your spot. So that reinforce bad behavior.
I feel like you should just have a rolled up newspaper and just be like, whoosh, no.
Spray bottle. I'm telling you. I'll bring the backpack super soaker back. Let's go.
What was the one with batteries in it that would
Yo, I saw...
Entitech?
Is that what it was?
Something like that.
There's a Facebook ad or a TikTok video of this USB charged squirt gun that shoots water bullets, and I really want one.
Water bullets?
Yeah, it shoots out the short burst, so it's like a bullet.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny
get
how
it.
everyone's
Fucking
ads
just
are
fires off. I'm like, dude.
This is just another example of Dan being Dan. We all get ads to I get ads for food stuff and blah, blah, blah. Dan gets ads for squirt guns. His algorithm is working squirt guns.
Squirt
I've
guns,
never seen that in my life.
Sneakers.
Yeah, now I will because we've said squirt guns 80 times.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had someone come in and ask me if I had sampled every beer in the beer cellar. I'm like, first of all, I'd be in rehab.
Yeah, I remember you saw your post.
And second of all, no, not everyone is there all at the same time. So you'd literally have to open up every single can 6 times.
What's funny is
Right.
I'm going to admit right now that I'm pretty sure I've asked Tatum about every single beer that I'm like, have you had this one? Like, not even thinking like what you're coming from.
Right.
I just assume she knows everything about everything in that store. So
Right.
But she at least does her research.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
You know,
and he just shows
I'm
up
just
for
a
work.
clerk, you know, and I do. I show up for work and I, goof around with the customers and they seem to enjoy it.
We do like get the sales reps coming in trying to sell us on stuff, but to be honest, it's just they can't come in with 30 cans of beer are expensive right now, man.
Yeah.
Some of them fucking
Some
$10
of them
a piece
are-
cost.
The cans are the hardest part to get now.
Right, right. You're not just gonna. All right, so let's say you buy a case, you got 24, and you crack. That $10 a piece cost. There's a $240 case, and you're gonna open one of those. So now it's like technically a $250 cost because you know what I mean.
Not
You
all
got
your
the
employees there at the same time, so now you got to crack a can each time that.
It just doesn't work like that.
And the inventory there changes weekly.
Do you
Try fast, take chances, buy the fucking can.
Yeah.
So I don't do the buying anymore. Now, do you still have the vendors? Do they drop off samples to you now, or are they?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they've actually ramped it up quite a bit, which is nice. Over the last year, it definitely dwindled a bit, and they just didn't have the inventory. They didn't want to sell me kegs. Especially the local breweries just whittled down how much they were producing because people weren't going to their tap rooms and drinking their beers. Now that they're back to full force, I'm getting more samples than I can handle.
I always like the samples.
Back to what it was.
Yeah, I just give them all to the kitchen guys now. I can't keep up.
They drop them off and they'll be like, awesome, thanks. I'll be like, I'll text Tatum, let him know. I'll see. I'm like, fuck, it's not mine. Thought I got free beer. Damn it.
Yeah, I just tell the kitchen guys. Let me know what you think of this.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I used to
Thumbs
do
up,
that with Pumpkin. I was like, you can have this because I don't want it.
Yeah.
You got to give me a detailed report on it.
Big
3
book
paragraphs.
reports.
I'm like, if I bring this keg in and it's bad, it's your fault. So.
Yes, you are drinking all of it on your dime.
But it works that way because then she would take pride in selling that beer because she picked it. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm considering changing from bartending at a family-owned place to working at a large hotel. Pros and cons of going corporate.
So I read this question earlier, and I was thinking this because I just went to Disney Worlds. How much do you think it sucks to bartend in Disney World because you have to be happy all the time?
Right.
And
And
you
they
don't
just-
have, you don't have regulars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They move them around.
Yep.
Like, especially the carts that are like in the middle of like Disney Springs and shit. Like,
Yep.
I remember one time I was there last year and I was trying to slam some Trulies and this lady had no idea what a Truly, like, they're not bartenders, you know what
So
I mean?
I'm not talking more of that. I'm talking about like the resorts.
Yeah.
Because each resort has its own bar and all that stuff too.
Right.
But like, there's still just because you're not in the theme park, you're still under the Disney umbrella.
It's true.
There's still cast members.
It's true.
So I mean, I had some awesome bartenders too.
Yeah.
So
I never had anybody I thought was like fake happy, but they definitely
that
play
means they're
under
good at their
different-
job.
Yeah, maybe.
You never thought I was fake happy, Jordan.
I can feel you dying inside. I'm good with that kind of thing. No, it's a good question, but I think Disney's unique anyway. But it is a good example, but it is unique where their expectation of their people, their cast members, I
Yep.
did the quote marks, I think are a lot higher than like your Pub 99 or Applebee's or something
Yes.
like that. But she's talking hotel. I might be closer to a Disney than you'd
Well,
realize.
that's why I thought of it because
Yeah.
they're technically a lot of them work in the hotel bars, so
Right.
it's got to be the same thing.
I'd imagine a hotel's probably solid because, I mean, if it's a busy, let's just assume it's an okay to busy hotel.
Yep.
You always have someone to serve.
Yes.
Right. But
And I would say it also depends on like what the clientele is.
right.
So if you're the kind of place that handles mostly corporate gatherings of trade shows or whatever, you're going to have people from the States probably using a corporate card. Drinks are overpriced, so your tip should be better.
Right.
But if you're someplace like Disney that's going to get a lot of people from other countries that tipping isn't common or standard, that might be an issue.
yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot there. Yeah, you don't really know. Hotel. Yeah, I guess it depends where the hotel is. I mean,
Yeah, I can give like a little insight. Like when I worked at the British Beer Company in Framingham, we were connected to a Best Western,
okay.
and it's on Route 9. So Route 9's one of the busiest roads in the state. And we had a lot of like truck drivers stay there. There's a lot of people that stay there for months, like business people. And then we also had car auctioneers come in every Thursday.
Huh.
Love the Thursday guys. Hated every single other person. They were just, because like you said, it wasn't like a high-end hotel.
Right.
So it probably depends on your hotel.
Yeah.
So there was just some awful people that would be there for a month.
Right. And then
they walk in the door, I'm like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah, because they're not regulars. Like the family mom and pop place, you're gonna have a built-in clientele. Hopefully, you know what I mean. If they're doing things right, that's the whole point of being in a small business, right? Is forming those relationships.
But like I said, that Thursday, those same guys every week. Like when I left, they threw me a party. Like
get out of here, no shit.
Yeah.
See, that's pretty rad. That's kind of like a blend of both.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I mean. It's like it depends where your hotel is, what the hotel is, and all that stuff. So
right.
Going and do your research.
Yeah, I guess you would have to. Right?
Stay at the hotel, get blackout drunk there, and see how they. But wear a fake mustache, so they don't know it's you.
Do you a fake mustache? Do you think there's less? I mean, was there less policing of being overserved?
Nope, because Framingham sucks in that regard. They are very strict.
No shit.
It's one of the strictest places I've ever worked.
No shit.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because I feel like I've been in places where they're like, "You're staying here."
Yes.
Who gives a shit? As long as you can operate the elevator, you're good.
Right.
And then you're in the elevator.
Been one of those people.
I
Like,
think
can you
I
get
was
the
there too
elevator?
long. I actually had trouble getting into my hotel room once because it was the card key. You know the card keys.
Oh yeah.
And they slide down.
Yes.
But there was like this little black line that, in my drunken state, looked like the kind of thing where you.
Oh, it was the light that lit up?
Yeah, and I'm like trying to fucking stick the card, and my buddy's like looking at me like, "You're a fucking idiot."
I mean, there's been post-hotel after parties that I'm surprised I made it into my hotel room. So
holy shit.
Woke up on my bed in my suit still. So, I feel that.
Oh, I think the drunkest I've ever gotten in my entire life was at a wedding at a hotel.
Foxwoods for me.
Yeah, you can ask Alicia about my Foxwoods birthday experience there.
Fantastic. You know my Foxwoods getting killed by Joey Fatone.
Yes, yep.
Oh,
yep.
yeah, that was on the that was on the show.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, check out your hotel.
Yeah, like anything else, just do your homework. I mean, I guess pros and cons. You're gonna be missing a lot of that personal touch. You're just gonna be one of a number. You're gonna have to build even if it's a good run corporate place and they value their people, it's gonna take you a while to build up that rapport like you had with the mom and pop place. So,
I mean, you can build regulars anywhere.
Right.
Like even if it's a hotel bar, there's still, if it's in like a local place, there's still people who come there.
Absolutely.
So it all depends on you.
Right.
Besides the money, what do you love most about serving? Dan?
Nothing. No. I like talking to people. So
I know it's like the toughest climate to answer that question right now because everyone is just an asshole these days.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a grumpy old man, but man, we came out of COVID some bitchy motherfuckers, man.
Yep.
It's crazy. Everyone just wants more. They complain. I give my service a lot of credit, but you know what? A lot of people stay. We've talked about this before. You get stuck in the restaurant industry because of the social atmosphere.
Yeah.
And regulars, things like that.
Yep. They said ragu, and I was like, pasta's not really a selling point for me.
The ragu?
Yeah. The family sauce, the gravy.
It's hard.
The Italians call it.
Yeah. Ragu in a jar is like the worst, dude. Oh, it's like ketchup.
Listen, I'm Irish. I don't give a fuck. Boil that sauce and let's go.
Let's go.
But
it's definitely an environment, interactions and stuff like that. Like it's hard, but I don't know.
I've always looked at bartending and been like, I could totally do that. And then I see my bartender friends have to deal with some asshole and go, I totally don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing conversation. Like I work hand in hand with the kitchen guys now again, and we talk about it once in a while. We're like, we watch them make a lot of money out there and stuff like that, and we'll all be like, "Yeah, imagine we made that back here," in tips. Like, oh, they're taking home so much in tips. And then we'd be like, yeah, it would be nice if we got one bartending shift a week or whatever. And that's always like kind of I think that goes on in every single restaurant everywhere. And then it always ends with, but then you got to do this. Yeah. Then you got to be here till 1, 2 in the morning. Then you got to deal with these assholes. Then you got to deal with the public.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't always suck, but it
you
really
have to have
sucks.
that Disney face when they're like, send this back because it's exactly what I asked for and I've changed my fucking mind.
Right.
Yeah.
You're getting people
at
their best and at their worst. Yeah. And it sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like, I guess on the other end of it though, like a retail job or let's say you use an office job, you can't just like walk around the office and like go to someone's cubicle and just start talking shit.
Oh, I can never do that.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about serving. Like say you're sharing the floor with a couple other servers, like you guys have your own little station, you can yuck it up. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's getting. You go to an office. I don't know. I'm not from an office background, but it's not like that. It's not.
You can freedom. To some extent. You know, it does. I mean, the same thing if people are hanging at the service station the whole time.
Right.
Like, you know, but it's not a social environment at all.
Right.
Like you can 10 bar, and provided it's not like an insanely crazy night where you're in the weeds, you can, you know, chit chat with the regulars and like get to know people. And, you know, I worked in an office for like 5 years. I don't know everyone. I don't even know all their names.
Right.
So like if I didn't have a direct interaction with them, you'd get hey, this guy's starting, his name's Steve. You'd be like, cool, what does he do? And then that's probably the last time you talk to Steve.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking Steve.
Yeah.
Goddamn
Fucking
Steve.
guy, dude. Oh. Instant gratification's another one too. Every time you close a tab, that's like, I did it. I got a good job. Like, I don't know. I just can't. I worked in retail. Like, you don't get that. There's never a closure. Like, you just go in, you work your shift, you leave, you know, and there's never that, like, sure, I could put a delivery away and good, I got that delivery done. Nice. But you don't have that, like, person being like, yeah, you have a good day too, or thank you, or like, you know, and I know I started this saying, like, people are bitchy right now, and they are. But you do have a lot of like regulars and like Andy was saying, coming in saying like they love you and they appreciate you, and you don't get that at other places. You don't get that instant gratification. You know, so.
You're never gonna work at fucking Target and someone's gonna be like, "Hey, I brought my dad in to meet you today because you're my favorite."
Oh, I made some cookies. So I brought you some cookies.
T-shirt guy.
Yeah. Or way to bang out that pricing gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that shit.
Retail's the fucking worst.
I just say retail must suck. Because it's the same shitty part of service.
It absolutely fucking sucks.
We can go take a break now. He's going to go.
This podcast running long tonight.
Welcome to Retail Talk with Michael Fish Murphy.
Grocery store point of view too is I'm thinking that was the next one I was going to go.
It's just everything bad about people.
Yeah.
Without the
benefit of them giving you more money.
Working for tips. It's
like,
right.
I have to be nice for you, and I am being nice to you for like borderline money. It's like I cannot afford to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry we don't have the bread. They didn't send it to me. I don't know what to goddamn tell you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never seen this brand. No, you did not get it here last week.
When I worked,
I think you made that up.
I am referring very specifically to yesterday.
No, I don't have the TikTok bread.
Is there a TikTok bread?
I'm sure there is. The TikTok everything.
But
doing a TikTok dance.
I remember leaving retail and going to work in an office environment and getting my first review, and they're like, "Oh, you know, so what do you think about your first year here?" And I'm like, "Well, this is nice to have a review where you tell me how happy you are that I work here, not how lucky I am to work here." And that's retail's mentality: is you're lucky to be working for this company.
Right. That's you nailed it. You nailed it.
Brutal.
Yep.
You're a number.
Absolutely, and the number they don't care about.
Yep.
Negative one.
Fuck me. Gergati say.
Oh, Jacoby.
Georgette and Sayate. I don't know what the last one is. Georgette, though. Just spelled differently.
There's no... sorry, a J does not belong in that name.
I really miss making fun of Andy.
We'll give him a podcast.
Everyone does. Don't.
Just know between my ears, I am.
Next episode, it's all over.
I have gone my life with getting shit. I don't
I'm
mind.
like helping him now. Hey, buddy.
Hey, little guy, don't worry.
You need help crossing the street?
No, I need help spelling receive. That is a word I cannot spell.
I before E and less Portuguese.
Good work, buddy. You want some candy?
So, you have candy? Yes, I would love some candy. Need help. Over the span of about a month, an employee has stolen $300 worth of food. I'll be letting said employee go, but can I make her pay the money back? I have all the receipts.
Do you have their final paycheck? Have you issued that yet? I still don't think you can legally do that. You might be able to go to like a small claims court or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
you'd have to go to court.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you can ask
right
anything.
And go basically kind of go if you have intentions on taking them to court, there's your answer.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would reasonably waste their time for $300. You know what I mean? You're already getting rid of the employee, but you can prey off their fear. They don't know that.
Yeah. Call their bluff.
Call their bluff. Be like, yeah, and I will be, you are expected to pay this much, and we have proof that you took it, and da-da-da-da-da, and we'll be talking to a lawyer. That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
And it's enough to say, talking to a lawyer. Sure, you might be talking to a lawyer.
There's crazy shit that companies do. So I know someone whose son was caught shoplifting from Walmart, and Walmart issues like a fine. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to pay this. And I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
You got the shit back. Like, you caught him. I'm not paying
what's the penalty if I don't pay said fine?
Are you going to send me to Walmart jail? Like, I don't...
Eventually,
I don't know if I want to go to that jail, Andy.
Is our police force? Yeah. Then we'll have to worry about it.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, it was just like...
They make you work at Walmart. You have to go collect all the carts from the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh. That'd be rough.
Yeah.
Like, that I'd be okay with, because I'd be like, well, he's going to do that, and that'll teach him a lesson.
True.
But, like, why am I paying a fine?
Right.
Clearly my kid has no money. He stole your shit.
But, I mean, regardless of, it's like, you got the shit, and you're going to write me a ticket.
Right.
I'm like, that's the most bizarre thing. I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
And, like, I love places that are like, oh, you're banned here from life. Like, I used to work at a grocery store. You can't come here anymore. But, like...
Right.
It's not like they put your fucking picture up.
Right. Like the streakers through, we said the streaking during the Thanksgiving parade, like people who streak during like sporting events. Oh, they're not allowed at college football games anymore. Yeah, good fucking luck.
Right. Yeah.
Making sure that guy.
Because Dan already said he just wears a fucking fake mustache.
Exactly. One of those Groucho Marx.
Over his beard. Been like, no.
So the only reason I have a beard is when I fuck up, I can shave it off and I'm a whole new life.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm not that guy. He's like, I'm Stan Mahoney.
2-year anniversary of this like video I did for Crush a Can Day popped up on my Facebook today, and it was when I had that ugly, gross little stash.
Oh, remember that? I remember that.
It's it's in all the BarTalk.
I was going to say I frequently use that.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you.
You're
it's
welcome.
Actually a Photoshop mustache for those of you who actually follow our page.
It's not.
No, it is. It was a lot more pathetic than that.
I gotta recover the. I have a picture of you dancing on the stripper pole at Mal Bar.
That was my first anniversary.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's great.
Karl, jump on, buddy.
I'm very busy.
You look it. They're offering us drinks. Yeah,
I'll take one. Karl, surprise me.
Karl Mahoney, friend of the show.
Sponsor.
Wait, friend of the show.
There we go.
I'm talking to a microphone, but then we have to share one, and me and Dan are just not that close.
Pretty close
Today.
right
All right, Maria Skoken. What system do you use for music in your restaurant?
We use Spotify, and then I also use Apple Music.
Nice.
Because I can make my own Apple Music playlist on my phone when I'm not at work.
I have a piggyback question to this, but I'll answer it first.
Okay.
We buy this little Grace digital audio thing, and it has like all the streaming things, but the girls just come in and don't even use it. They plug their phones in and play whatever they want.
Yep.
But the piggyback to that is the music licensing companies charge you for doing that now. So CSAC, BMI, and what's the other dickhead? ASCAP are all music licensing companies, and they collect royalties for artists that you play over your speakers in your bar or restaurant. And they come collecting. And let me tell you, they waited during COVID like you thought they were hiding, and they're back. So basically what they're saying is if you pick a musician. I don't know.
Cardi B.
Steely Dan. I like Steely Dan or Cardi B.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know why that's the first
Steely
band.
Dan's a good one because it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Steely Dan is covered more than anybody, probably sampled by more hip-hop artists than anybody, and you hear it at every bar or restaurant you go to because it's just kind of universal studio music. Well, Steely Dan needs to make money every single time you play a Steely Dan song.
Correct.
Or a song covering a Steely Dan song.
Yep.
Or if you hire a musician.
Does everybody know what a Steely Dan is?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what a Steely Dan is?
No.
You know? Can we say it on the podcast?
Yeah.
It's a dildo.
Instead of saying it, he should look it up on his phone and get his reaction.
I already said it out loud. Did you hear what I said?
Nope.
Dan's
All right,
really
I'm
good.
not a good listener.
Good. I
Thank you,
almost
sir.
spoiled the good content. But yes, be aware that Pandora, Spotify, all that stuff, just because you pay for that service doesn't mean you're legally licensed to use that service in your bar or restaurant. And these people send in spies. They're like, oh, they have a capacity of 90. So it's 90 people listening to Steely Dan at Speedwell 7 times a week. Okay, and then here's an $800 bill once a year.
So how does that get
Right.
tracked? Because obviously they don't have someone tracking every single song.
So what they do is they average everything out based on whatever data they have across the country. I think it's across the world, actually. A couple of them are national, and then one is international. And you pay, there's 3 of them: BMI, CSAC, ASCAP. And I think what they do is they basically go, they look at your demographic. Okay, they're located in this town.
It's the hardest thing I've ever looked up.
They have this many seats in their bar. They're open 7 days a week. They book artists that are covering songs, because you got to pay for that too.
Right.
So they have live music 5 days a week, and they'll call Speedwell and say, hey, you have any live music this weekend? Yep, we got so-and-so and so-and-so. Oh yeah, what kind of music? Oh, they just do cover songs. Okay, thank you, bye. And 2 weeks later, you got an updated, estimate of what you owe that company for. And you can call and haggle with them. You could be like, hey, listen,
I did not know.
we only do live music on Tuesdays. You got us down for 3 days a week. Or we only play Pandora from 9 o'clock p.m. till on. And they'll kind of work with you. They don't want to. You got to call their bluff, back on that theme. But that's something very important.
I wasn't listening to anything you said. I was looking up what Steely Dan means.
And what is it?
It's a steam-powered dildo.
Yes, it is. And listen to the lyrics of their songs, man. They were a lot darker than you realize. Steely Dan, I got into later in life. But
The band or the object?
both. Listening to the band. Well,
COVID
that's
was a
different
weird
podcast.
time for Jordan.
the cost of running a business that people don't know, you got to pay $4,000 in licensing fees to ASCAP, CSAC, or BMI, or they'll use a Steely Dan on you. Your choice.
But that's one of those things that I love. It's always the lower down the totem pole employees. It'd be like, oh well, they're probably making so much money, but like you don't even understand where the money's going.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle, probably over there.
Yeah.
As the owner of the business, you know what I mean? And it is what it is. That's fine. I'm happy.
And I mean, I get it. It's not their job to understand like that. It costs you, what'd you say, $8,000 a year, or whatever.
$4,000 a year
Yeah.
for Speedwell, which has got 90 seats. You know what I mean?
So it's like that's $4,000.
Is that what you pay by seat? Is this all stuff you already talked about? I can go back and listen
Well, I was saying that the 3 licensing companies have different ways of basically estimating what you owe their musicians they represent.
Yep.
So they'll look at your capacity, how many days a week you have live music.
later. Yep.
If you use Pandora, Spotify, blah, blah, and they'll send people in your bar. They'll have people call and ask if you have live music, and then they just come up with some arbitrary number and charge you that. And you can haggle with them.
Yeah.
But they're gonna get their money either way. They'll send creditors after you. They'll legit go after you. But Speedwell pays, and I don't have any problem. About all 3 combined, about $4,000 a year to be able to do what we do.
I mean, I get it. Like those musicians should be paid.
Right,
I don't
and
have
we're already paying. That's the thing, though. You're paying for Spotify. You're paying for Pandora,
Right.
Apple Music. You would think that would be under their umbrella, like or that's included, or you're paying your musicians.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the guys that come in and cover.
But
like,
then
I'm
that
paying them.
money, that's one of those like, if you stop tipping, the prices would go up the menu.
Correct.
If you stop paying ASCAP and the musicians had to pay ASCAP, then the cost for you would just transfer over to the musicians.
Do musicians
Bingo.
get charged that stuff?
No.
No?
I'm sure if they're incorporated, they do. I have a couple musicians who are actually licensed and incorporated because they write originals.
Yep.
But they do cover songs, and they have to pay a certain amount of money a year to stay incorporated.
Okay.
So their original music is unsolicited. And hey, you know what? A place like Karl, another incentive to hire local original musicians, maybe.
Yeah.
You're going to bring people in, they're going to be hungry, and, theoretically have to pay these licensing companies for them. They'll get you one way.
I mean, I'm doing slam poetry here next week.
That's
Nice.
a fucking good idea.
No smoke bombs.
He's doing a drag show.
I'm slamming chairs.
I wish Karl was on so we could talk about the drag queen show you have in a few weeks.
Jess can come do last call for him.
I'm in.
All right.
Let's go.
So
I already
yeah,
got my dress
that's-
picked out.
You were in the
Let's
drag
do-
show?
Yeah, I'm in.
Word?
Let's do last call then, since Dan said last call. This is
Last call.
This is the part of the show where we go around the table and people can plug whatever the hell they want to plug. So we're gonna start with Jordan because I feel like Jordan always steals mine.
You know
And I
what?
don't even have one.
I'm going to go Bowser's Basement again. Things
Nice.
are opening back up. You guys have been stuck inside playing video games for the last 18 months. You're probably getting bored with the same old games that you have. Check him out online. He's got his store up in, Jesus Christ, Taunton. but he's also working on some satellite locations. And John Rhodes is all over the place. Great guy, knows his stuff. But go check out his vintage store or check him out online. You can buy a lot of stuff online too. He trades. He buys your old shit. You can buy his old shit. And get some member berries, get some nostalgia. Nothing to get yourself out of pandemic depression than some old video games that you used to love when you were a kid and things were less complicated.
Truth.
Dan?
Check out Fish's new podcast of I Don't Know the Red Sox Anymore. It comes out the day after they lose the season, which he doesn't know when that is. So it's going to be, and not because they're good, it's because he stopped paying attention to baseball.
I never took you to be a wagon jumper, man.
Yeah, me neither, man.
You know about the Red Sox.
I always knew he had hats, but I didn't know they were pink hats. So.
Yeah.
First of all, that's hurtful.
That's so hurtful. I know it's hurtful.
I had a busy ass weekend.
You know what I will say? You're lucky that it went that way because it was a terrible weekend for the Red Sox. They got spanked by the Yankees. Giancarlo turned a dagger in my heart.
Like
Jordan's his first guest. This is a preview.
I'm sorry.
I feel like this is...
I am sorry that I didn't I didn't see the Sunday night game.
It was ESPN anyway. Matt
Yeah.
Vasgersian, A-Rod.
I feel like I should have gone first
Might as
because
well
then
be
I
the
could
Yes
have checked
Network.
out already.
So I just lobbed it up there. I'm like, I'm done.
All right, well, it's your last call, Andy. Who are you plugging?
Well, Jess, you want to do a last call?
Now they're busy.
No, they're busy. All right. So I am going to plug multiple things. So I'm going to plug Main Street Plymouth Retail. There's more on Main
What's
Street.
your favorite store?
Craft Beer
Solar. No, actually,
Rightfully so.
no. 13 Court. Have you been to 13 Court yet?
Nope.
13 Court, super cool. Danny owns it. She opened it up. It's like this funky thrift store. It feels like Cambridge. Like if you go inside, it feels like you're in Cambridge.
I love that she does like a sidewalk sale every day too. It's
Yeah.
like it's so. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal you.
That's
I
fine.
just have a
That's fine.
question.
So I can go ahead, Dan.
And it's going to feed
Dan,
your thing.
Jordan, go ahead.
So it's like a consignment shop, right?
Yeah, she's got like consignment stuff. There's like antiques. There's newest shit. There's some funky old toys. No Steely Dans that I know of.
That's in the
but,
back.
But there's that. We now have axe throwing. There's a new boutique whose name I can't remember. They literally opened Friday.
On the corner where the old
on
Pilgrim's Progress
Yes,
was.
right
Yeah.
on the corner, right across from Angelo's roast beef.
I always want to say spinach and artichoke dip because it starts with like a SPI.
Yeah, I walked by it this morning.
Cinderella.
So something like that.
I like Spinderella.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool retail places along this street, and people should come down and check it out and stop in a restaurant afterwards.
The smoke shop's even rad. You
Oh
know
yeah,
that? Brennan Smoke Shop.
Yep.
So sick,
Yep.
dude.
I finally found a face of those commercials I've been hearing all my life.
He's been on Old Colony Cast.
Has he?
Yeah, like way early on when we were doing interviews.
The thickest Boston accent
Yeah,
you
like he leans into that shit.
got. The only thing he's missing
and-
is just calling people guy.
And then there's the art shop and Inky Hands Print Studio.
Yes.
There's tons of shit.
Oh man, the art shop.
Yeah.
I love those guys, Eddie and Jesse.
Yep.
Yep.
So there's lots to.
There's a pawn shop too. If
There
you
is
need
a
to get
pawn
rid of some
shop?
Pawn
stuff.
shop's rad.
Yeah.
Yep.
That guy's a great guy.
Yep.
So come down, shop, spend money.
Hey, we all piggybacked your last call. It's a good one.
I know.
Nicely done, Andy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I was kind of proud of that.
should
Fish, you got a
first
last
next
call?
time.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much it since Fish is bowing out.
He's bowing out. He's gonna go work on his podcast. Not watching the Red Sox.
So you can reach us at bartalkcast@gmail.com with your love letters and hate mail. We haven't gotten hate mail in a long time, so hate mail
loves us too
Hate mail
much.
always gets
They love
read
us.
first.
Yeah.
You love us.
So you can send out your questions there, your bitches about whatever, my reading, Jordan's hate of mixologists, whatever. You can find us at all social medias at BarTalkCast. We have some merch that's not up on the website yet, but hopefully will be this week. We have pint glasses and shot glasses.
I used my
And-
shot glass the other day.
Nice.
Did you?
Yeah. I used my pint glass, but it only had water in it, so it's not as exciting.
And we have new content up on the YouTube channel, the Bar Talk Day Drinking Show. There's now 4 episodes. They're getting progressively better. Me and Fish are figuring out what we're doing.
Check out my sick shirt.
Yeah.
I'll auction it off.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. I'm an asshole.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it was the best one we've done so far.
Because I
And-
wasn't there.
No, that's not why.
It's all about me.
No, it's
Even when it's not.
we figured out what we're doing. I think that's what it is.
Fish just had less things to cut out.
And we're gonna start planning the next one. So stay tuned for that.
Sick kids. Peace.
Bye.
Cheers. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, BarTalk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.